we are going to move on with this final race today. What price of victory here for a little Scottish fella? He's done it every time, has he not, Roy Skinner? I did suggest that we might just put a handicap out and put his dad on the pillion seat just to stop him running away with it, as he has done not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times, not 5 times, but 6 times. 6 starts and 6 victories to Rory Skinner. How will they line up? Remember that they line up irrespective of whether they're GP2 or Supersport, but when the flag comes out to stop the race, then they are then separated for points allocation into their respective classes. The way they line up will be pole position, number 11, Rory Skinner for Tysers Yamaha, put a lap in at 1 minute 38.053. Alongside him his teammate, number 12, Bradley Jones, on the second of the Tysers Yamahas, 138.337, and completing the front row of the grid, just hot foot from a successful weekend at Scarborough. This is number 69, General Lee Johnston, on the Ashcore Racing Yamaha, 138.611. Row number 2 sees the first of the GP2 machines, and that's number 20, Tommy Oliver, on the Chassis Factory Nova Go Racing entry. Number 4, Harry Truelove on the Truelove Brothers Racing Yamaha, and 97, Bradley Piri on the Diamond 8 Racing Yamaha. Row number 3 sees 75, Jamie Perrin on the Jamie Perrin Racing APS Yamaha. Number 5, which is the second of the GP2s, and that is Mason Law on the Spirit Moto Corsa Honda. Then number 3, and that is James Westman running for Mike and Norma Davidoff on the Gearlink Kawasaki. Row number 4 sees 61, Ben Curry, 55, Jack Scott, 34, Alistair Seeley. Row 5, 86, Charlie Nesbitt, 13, Kurt Wigley, 6, Ross Patterson. Row 6, 47, Jake Archer, 7, Richard Kerr, 28, James Rose. Row 7 sees 33, Michael Dunlop, 72, Cameron Horseman, 44, Dan Jones. Row 8, 66, Cameron Fraser, 76, Joey Thompson, 74, Rob Hartog. Row 9 should see number 57, Corey McGreevy. He did take a tumble, did he not, during qualifying? I think that Corey McGreevy was sent to the medical centre, but he has been given on the list that we have here. I'm not sure whether, Larry, you can down there and can see whether Corey McGreevy is there on row number 9, but alongside him, if he is there, should be the rider from Zagreb and Zonde in the Netherlands, and that is number 5050, Jorre Boerboom. Number 9, Philip Wakefield, local rider from Sandbach, completes row number 9. Row 10 sees 26, Mike Norbury, 91, Ricky Tarrant, and making his debut, not only at the circuit, but also in British Supersport, is number 27, Joe Loughlin.
There looks to be a gap alongside Jorre Boerboom there, so McGreevy doesn't look like he's made it, Fred.
So it is a non-start then for Corey McGreevy. Thanks for that, Larry. And the riders then go out onto their green flag lap, the back row of the grid we didn't give, and that is 99, Matt Wigley, 41, Alan Naylor, and 6060, Grant McIntosh. So going to be a non-starter then, we anticipate. Just get my piece of paper here to make a full note of this one for this particular outing, for the combined outings of both the GP2s and also of the Supersport. So
he had a disaster at Silverstone, did Corey McGreevy, 2 DNFs, I think, Fred, as well, so certainly just not working out. And when you consider the effort as well as the finance that the Irishmen and the Ulstermen that they do, as you were extolling the virtues, put into coming across there, when we jump on ferries and aeroplanes or whatever, it's a big deal for us, isn't it, Fred, to go to race meetings? They do it every other weekend, so it's very disappointing for Corey McGreevy not to make the grid on that Century Triumph.
Yes, he had a gearbox problem in the first race at Silverstone, and it reoccurred in the second of the races at Silverstone. Things were going fine in free practice here earlier on. Spoke with him, Corey, and spoke with his brother Kia, and they were happy. They were happy. Things were going okay, but then he did step off, and the latest news we saw was that he was taken to the medical centre for investigation. We hope that all is okay. We will find that out overnight, but clearly Corey McGreevy, who won the Stock 600 Championship of last year, is a non-starter, and that due to, it may be, of course, due to injury, or maybe due to the bike being bent, Larry, we know not, but be crashed during qualifying, a non-starter for number 57. Well, the one they've got to stop, and nobody's found a way to do that as yet, is Rory Skinner. What I should say, incidentally, is for those people that are unfamiliar with what we're talking about with Supersport and GP2, basically the Supersport is a stock machine. It's a production machine. It's a roast brand. The name is the production machine, and you just take off all the things you don't need, like the lights, the stands, and things like that. So it's basically a showroom bike is the stock Supersport. Running with an engine that can have a little bit of tuning to it, not a huge amount, but there's a little bit of tuning under the regulations that can be done to the Supersport engine. With the GP2, they run a bespoke chassis, very expensive but very light chassis, but they are governed to 128 horsepower, nothing more than 128 horsepower, and no modifications at all, no tuning at all to the engines. It does work very, very well, the very comparative performances. We are ready to go, and we are indeed racing on this final race of the day, and Roy Skinner's going to get the whole shot. Is he on the run into Oulton number 1? It looks like Roy Skinner from around the outside. In fact, it looked to be the front row. Roy Skinner, Brad Jones and General Lee Johnson that took the 1, 2, 3 running down the avenue for the first time. It is indeed that. It is Roy Skinner from Bradley Jones from General Lee Johnson. There's a bit of a back end kick there. Did General Lee Johnson as he just bent it in toward Cascades for the first time. Running there in 4th place, that looks to be Harry Truelove, who had a good start. That would be the number 4 of Harry Truelove. Then that's Jamie Perrin, the next rider up on his own Yamaha. The number 75 of Jamie Perrin, now backed by APS, which is Andrew Pipework Services of Rothwell in Northamptonshire. But this is a sight they didn't want to see, and that is the young Scotsman, the number 11, the 18-year-old from Perth in Scotland, with the perfect record. And he had of Brad Jones. Brad Jones, it's taken him a little bit of the early races to get back onto the form we know he's capable of. It's not worked that well for Bradley Jones in the early races. A couple of 4th at Donington Park, then 11th and 6th at Snedderton before getting onto the podium with a 3rd and a 2nd at Silverstone. Ben Curry, it's gone wrong for him. He went wrong in free practice. I know that they were looking to that bike, but it looks like Ben Curry's race is over before it's even got through the first lap. That is the number 61 of Ben Curry. Wait to see whether he is a retirement or whether he just overshot down at the Hizzy chicane. We'll see when they come through to complete this lap. That would be 61. Ben Guy. No, he's stopped down. I think he's stopped down at this chicane. I think it was a technical problem, so he is out of it already with a distinctive green and orange Gearling Kawasaki. This is showing his number is showing movement now, so he may just come down the pit lane. We'll keep our eyes open for that, Larry. It's number 61, Ben Curry. Right, at the end of lap number 1, Skinner, Bradley Jones, Johnson, Perrin, Truelove, Oliver, Perry, I should say, then Law, Westman, Scott, Seeley, Patterson, Kurt Wigley, Rose, Nesbitt, Archer, Dan Jones, Hartock, Thompson, Horseman, Dunlop, Norbury, Butterboom, Wakefield, Fraser, Tarrant, Loughlin, Naylor and McIntosh. And I'm just looking left-handed to see whether a green and orange, yes, here it is. It is the green and orange machine. It is a retirement into Pit Lane for the number 61 of Ben Curry. Ben Wilson immediately across to find out what the problem is. Now, try and get them out if they can. They won't want to lose the mileage on this one, of course. It could be some extra testing miles if they can sort this one out pretty quickly and he can get out and do a few laps out there. The number 61 of Ben Curry, Mike.
Or indeed a safety car, Fred, a red flag, anything like that. If he's circulating at the time of that, then it still gives him half a chance.
Well, it does, as long as he doesn't lose too many laps. Of course, the longer he sits down there in pit lane, Larry, he's going to lose, and they come past, and he's going to be at least one lap in arrears, isn't he? That's going to be the problem here. But I don't think they'll want to waste any available track time for him. Right, they are on their way up toward us, so he's going to be at least one lap in arrears, because here they come up toward Lodge Corner, and it is the 11, the blue 11, from the blue 12, followed by Blue Moon. Takes us into the song, Blue Moon. All right, there they go through then. That is, that then is the two tyres of Yamaha's going through in first, second place. Skinner, Bradley Jones, Johnson, Perrin, Truelove. Bradley Perry moves up, looking for the first of the movers, and that is Bradley Perry. Yes, he's going out on the circuit. He is going out there. Whatever the problem was, it was to some degree able to be attended to. Whether to full effect, but he is now able to go back out on the circuit to at least get some testing miles in, is Ben Curry. Such a good act in the past, Ben Curry. Remember, he was runner-up in the British Supersport pack in 2018, was Ben Curry. Ben Curry is actually another one of those riders who does get help and support from J&S Accessories, and he actually gets the Frank Thomas Tech Air suit with the Alpine Stars airbag to help him with his racing progress. That's Ben Curry. BJ, as he's now Silverstone, Ben James Curry, BJ Curry.
There's one other thing, Fred, quite important, is set a lap time as well for tomorrow's race to get us up as the grid. If it was to happen on the first lap, he would be way down the order, whereas now, not allowed to change tyres, of course. He can go out there, but try and set a faster lap to give himself the best chance tomorrow.
As Captain Manning was saying, I wondered who would be the first to spot that. Well done.
Don't tell him your name, Pike.
Just getting shot there. I think it was General Lee Johnson that was running off of the track there. General Lee is hooked in there nicely in third position. He's a good quality actor, General Lee. I'm not so sure whether he's pulling my leg or not, but he said he won't be coming down to Brands Hatch. He said, long way to go away for me. He said, I'm from North. Goes up in the second place to General Lee now, runs 69. So he may not be coming down to Brands Hatch. They, of course, between now and Brands Hatch, they will be battling it out at Donington Park. He will certainly be there at Donington Park. And I suspect, Larry, that it may well be with General Lee Johnson, who's running, fifth in the championship chase, what his results are here and at Donington. And that could well determine whether he does come to Brands Hatch for the final round.
Looks like we've got another caller into pit lane, Fred. Just seeing who this is. It's not Mason Law, is it? No, it's not. No, I thought it was Mason Law there, but it is the... is that Charlie Nesbitt? Just look, it is Charlie Nesbitt into pit lane, Fred, so whether or not that's probably... No, it's not. It's Joey Thompson. We got there in the end. Joey Thompson into retire, Fred.
Joey Thompson, comeback racer Joey Thompson, and he then is a retired. We'll get an indication. Number 76 entered into the pits. Number 76, Joey Thompson, sadly a retirement. He was on duty as well up at Quattro Park. At Scarborough last weekend was Joey Thompson. Let's get back to what's happening on the circuit. And Jamie Perrin has taken the Yamaha up into third position. That's pushed General Lee Johnston back into fourth place. I chuckled there with the number 75 there because Jamie Perrin, that bike is not the latest machine out there. That is basically a 2016 R6 Yamaha that Jamie Perrin is racing. He had to resurrect it. He was, of course, committed to be riding with the Bike Devil Racing squad on their MV Augusta, but they went their own separate ways. He had to resurrect his old bike. Got a bit of help and the essential financial help from Andrew Pipework Services, APS, and there he is, and he's not looked back. He's really had some tremendous results since turning back to his own Yamaha out there, Jamie Perrin. He had 2 fourth places at Silverstone, did Jamie, and including a lap record. He took a lap record in the second of the 2 races. Looking up toward the first of the GP2s and the GP2 red-plated machines. It's the old story. You get a result and then you can't stop the ride again, that result. And it's Tommy Oliver, number 20, Tommy Oliver, who's back once again as the front runner of the GP2s. And Tommy Oliver did get the win in the second of the GP2 races at Silverstone. So 20, Tommy Oliver from 5, Mason Law. Then Jack Scott, number 55, Alice Seeley, 34, Charlie Nesbitt, 86, Archer, 47, Cameron Horseman, 72, Yara Boobum, 5050, Dan Jones, 44, and the only other GP2 I know too, yes, one more, that's Fraser, that's the number 66 of Cameron Fraser, and of course Thompson, he is a retirement. We're going back with the leaders, and there's something we haven't seen much this year. That's the number 11 in second place. Well, it is at the moment, and that is the number 12 of Bradley Jones that's leading this one. This could well be a turn-up for the books here. Skinner, who has dominated every one of the 6 races all the way through, but he now finds himself back in second position in what effectively is a 4-way scrap. That is 12 Brad Jones, 11 Roy Skinner, 75 Jamie Perrin, and 69 General Lee Johnston. So we'll be coming up to complete lap number 5. Fastest lap for Bradley Jones so far, 138.717 for Bradley Jones, and that again well shy of Jack Kennedy's earlier lap record set last year. Leaders are already through the bridge again, now coming up over... That actually is a replay. That's the replay where Bradley Jones took Rory Skinner, and that was coming up over Hilltop. Just got a drive on coming out of the... In fact, Skinner had gone past him once again, and Bradley Jones comes back at him on the run up toward Island Bend, but it is Skinner back in front as they arrive at Shell Oils. Rory Skinner, the tall 18-year-old, racing out of Perth in central Scotland. The team, of course, run by Robin Appleyard, backed by Doogie McAdam. Sponsorship coming from Tysers, Formerly it was Integro. They were the Integro team of last year, but Integro in these, as it happens in big heavy industry and commerce, Integro being taken over by Tysers. So the new company name Tysers. Leading forward just ahead of the 5th place rider, which is the number 4 of Harry Truelove. He's the younger of the Truelove brothers, Matt being the elder, running in the Stock 1000s, racing out of Lincoln. Harry, who finished 4th in the British Supersport of last year, had a 7 places across the board last year. Back with the leaders in toward Lodge Corner, and it is Skinner from Bradley Jones, from Jamie Perrin, from General Lee Johnson, just looking just off the screen there for the number 4 rider. Yes, he's still there. That is the number 4 of Harry Truelove. Behind Harry Truelove then it is Bradley Perry, number 97, Tommy Oliver, number 20, 5 Mason Law, followed by Westmoreland, Scott, Seeley, Kerr, Nesbitt, and then that is Ross Patterson, number 6 Ross Patterson. He has got in the wars, did Ross Patterson. That was at Silverton, I think, with Ross Patterson. He had a big crash in free practice before the first of the races, where he finished 11th in that. Then he crashed out of the second race, did Ross Patterson. The other difference I didn't tell you about, really, with the GP2s that carry the red number plates and the Supersports. The Supersports have to run with treaded tyres, a definable legal tread on the tyre, whereas the GP2s, they are the development machines and they run with slick tyres. It is mandatory that they do carry a starter motor on board, both the Supersport and also with the GP2s. Not sure how strict the regulations are that the starter motors must be working at all times. If you remember, Larry, when we went back to some of the early days of the World Supersport, and indeed lots of riders were being disqualified because they go into parc fermé and the motor wouldn't start on the starter motor, so they were kicked out of the results. So I'm not sure what the regulations state with regard to the working of the starter motor at the end of a race. Here are your leaders coming through then to complete lap number 7 into lap number 8, and the leading 5 have disappeared away over the horizon. We're just looking to those behind. 3 seconds back it is Perry, Law, Oliver, Westman, Scott, Seeley. Then 4.2 seconds back on that it is Nesbitt, Richard Kerr, Patterson, James Rose, Archer, Kurt Wigley, Rob Hartog, Cohen Horseman. Time though to go back with the leading gang. 5-way tussle. Following leader once again being headed by the tall, long-haired rider out of Perth. Not so sure he'll be with us next year, racing in our championship. I think he still yearns to get out on the world arena. I know that after winning the British Talent Cup, he wanted to get out to race in the Moto3 Junior World Championship in Spain and in Portugal. That didn't happen. So I think that he may well be. I suppose it would be all hinging upon whether he can muster the resources and cash to buy himself a ride. But I would suspect that the number 11, Rory Skinner, will be heading out into the World Supersport next year. I heard nothing on that score. I don't know whether you have, Larry, but that seems to be my reading between the lines of the conversations I've had with Rory. Here they come up toward Lodge Corner. If anything this time, Harry Truelove is just a whisker closer to the rear wheel of General Lee Johnston. It's not exactly swarming all over the back boot there, but the leading 5 again go through in line of stern action. And then behind them, there's Bradley Perry, the distinctive colours of Bradley Perry, the red colours, then Mason Law, Tommy Oliver, James Westland, then Jack Scott, Alistair Seeley. Alistair Seeley disappointingly down 4th fastest of the GP2s, the number 34 rider, Alistair Seeley on the Quattro Team ABM Triumph. This is heartening to see here, though, with the number 12 running in second place here, Bradley Jones. He showing a little bit of the fire in his belly that we saw last year when he was runner-up in the British Supersports behind Jack Kennedy. Thinking back to that, he had to play the bridesmaid just about every occasion behind Jack Kennedy. I think he only ever got the one victory, and that was here at Oulton Park. 13 second places and 9 third places behind that one victory at Oulton Park last year for Bradley Jones. You must have been thinking when Rory Skinner started to reel off these victories that this is a touch of deja vu. The top 5 then are out of the way up Clay Hill, out of his loss, no, away up Clay Hill. That's another little 5-way tussle behind. That would be 6th to 10th there. That would be Pirrie, Law, Oliver, Westmond and Scott. Brad Jones this time does look on the inside into Ward Lodge corner. That's really is something he should have tucked up his sleeve there and stuck like glue to the rear boot of Rory Skinner until that very last lap and just catch him slightly unawares as Harry Truelove now makes the move up on the inside. Harry Truelove now moves up into 4th place, and that then will have relegated Jamie Perrin back to 5th, which we can see it has. Jamie Perrin with a distinctive yellow upper on the fairing, the yellow and white, and then the blue lower part of the fairing. Very, very talented rider is Jamie Perrin, mate, no two ways about it, but if you ain't got the tools, then you can't do the job, and he has had to go back to the old reliable with the Yamaha. Fastest lap incidentally to Truelove, 1 minute 38.472. That's Truelove who's running in 4th place. That's not to say that he ain't going to get on the podium here. He could well be on the podium here. Harry Truelove, who currently runs 6th in the championship chase. Has been on the podium twice. He had a 2nd place at Snetterton, had a 3rd place at Silverstone. Looking confidently here to have a go on General Lee Johnston. That's the number 69 of the General, number 69, the 31-year-old. Real quality actor, the icing on the cake as far as this road racer is concerned, as Rory Skinner goes back into lead at Lodge Corner. But the icing on the cake, as far as Lee Johnston's CV is concerned, is the fact that he was able to add not just a victory at the Northwest 200 in the Supersport, but to add an Isle of Man TT victory in the Supersport of 2019 to his list of achievements. That is probably the race result that he will hold nearest and dearest to his heart. It's basically the reason that he's not carrying his number 13. He was always associated with number 13. He was not going to be contesting the whole of the series. He was going to do 1 or 2 wild cards, but he, with the demise of the racing on the roads in Ireland and the Isle of Man and so on, he decided he would be doing the full gambit of the Quattro Group British Supersport. But by the time he decided that, his regular number 13 had been allocated by Kurt Wigley. So he had to go for another number, hence he's riding a very strange number for him, which is number 69. Up into 3rd place now, and onto the podium has come Harry Truelove, 24-year-old Harry. Not quite sure where he was in the early stages, but slowly but surely he has just picking off places. Got too much of a gap, though, to go any higher than this one, because this is coming up to complete lap number 11, leaving 1 to go to the checkered flag. Would only be by default that he would go any higher than this. Default to either and or Skinner and or Brad Jones. Just love the way that Skinner's just getting more and more confident with this 600 bike as Bradley Jones goes through the side and they lean on each other. This is all getting in a wee bit too tight here for the teammates here. This could well end in tears, and they've got to do it one more time at Lodge Corner, and for sure Bradley Jones will have a go. And Bradley Jones is your race leader into turn number 1. Now the dice has fallen the other way. Now it's going to be for Rory Skinner to come back to take the win, to continue with win at number 6. Race number 6 of the ongoing series. Got 6 under his belt. Win number 7. Who's it going to go to? He looked on the inside and toward Island Bend. No way there. There's a back marker they've got to come across. This could sway the fortunes one way or the other. No, it doesn't. The back marker very courteously moves out of the way. Bradley Jones holds it. The attack will surely be on the run down toward his, or on the final analysis, it will be at Lodge Corner. But Skinner's got to get a wee bit closer than he is at the moment. Bradley Jones holds this one. It's only the once last year that Bradley Jones was able to get it over Jack Kennedy, and that was here at Oulton Park. Is he going to do the same here to Roy Skinner? Skinner knows now there is just one opportunity, and he's got to get it right. If he gets it wrong, this could end in tears, and it could mean a win for Harry Truelove. But if he gets it right, then it is the perfect record continue. Right, here's the move now. He's got to go on the inside. He's on the wrong side. He's not close enough to have a go on the inside, as he knows he's not. He's not close enough, and he's going to have to concede victory here to Bradley Jones. He's not going to fight this one through. He's going to settle for what he's got, which is going to be the second place. The drags toward the flag. They're coming toward the flag. It's a 1-2 once again for Appleyard and Tysers, but it is the victory then for the number 12 of Bradley Jones. Race number 7, after 6 times not getting the win, he has now taken that victory. Has Bradley Jones. A second place now to Rory Skinner appears on his CV. Third rider home then was the number 4 of Harry Truelove, followed then by General Lee Johnston, number 69, Jamie Perrin, 75, James Westman, number 3. The first of the GP2s came home in 7th place, and that was Mason Law. 8th place home, but 7th in the Supersport was Bradley Perry, number 97. We then have 4 GP2s. That's 55 Scott, 20 Oliver, 34 Seeley, and 86 Charlie Nesbitt. 13th home overall, but 8th of the Supersport, Richard Kern, number 7, from number 6 Ross Patterson. 15th home was the 6th of the GP2s, and that Jake Archer, followed by 28 Graham Rose, 74 Rob Hartog, 13 Kurt Wigley, 72 Cameron Horseman, 33 Michael Dunlop, 50 Yoda Budderboom, 44 Dan Jones, 66 Cameron Fraser, Wakefield, Norbury, Lachlan, Tarrant, and I think the Ricky Tarrant, the last of those riders on full distance. Yes, he is, as I look there. Well, it has happened sooner or later, and it's come sooner rather than later as we go into the second 6 races. Well, that'll leave 5, including tomorrow's race. But 6 victories, now 1 second place to Rory Skinner. That will not dent his aspirations that severely. It will actually just cut the 66-point advantage down to 61 points, which is still pretty impressive in anybody's stretch of the imagination. Just look and see, that would be over James Weston, though, won't it? Yes, that would be, in fact, over Westy will be more than that. So let me have a look, because where was Westy in that one? Westy finished in 6th place. He'll go on to 94. So he'll pick up 10 points, and Rory Skinner, he'll pick up 20 points. He'll go to 170. So in actual fact, the gap does widen as the championship leader. He will go up to 76 points. He'll pick up another 10 points. 76 points is the increased advantage to Rory Skinner over James Westman. What that means is that Bradley Jones, 77-97, he'll go into 2nd place in the championship. So we're just going down the order a little bit further. Bradley Jones will go on to 102 points. So the gap will actually come down to, goes up down to 68 points. It would be Rory Skinner, 68 points clear of his own teammate, Bradley Jones. He finally got there as the curtain comes down here at Oulton Park. What a tremendous day sport we've had here, ladies and gents. We hope that you've enjoyed the commentary that's come across, and a little bit of the excitement, a little bit of the drama, and the information, the facts and figures, and the racing that we've seen, and hopefully have related across to you wherever you are around the world, sitting by your radios. Don't forget, you can rejoin us tomorrow, 12 o'clock it will be, 12 o'clock we are back on air. We are prohibited from starting prior to 12 o'clock due to the local noise restrictions, ladies and gents, but we will certainly be ready to go. So we're all primed up and ready to go come 12 o'clock tomorrow noon. Tomorrow, from myself, Fred Clarke, thanking Mike Rump, as ever, for the record-breaking trip up from Brighton earlier on this morning. When Mike gets home, I think during the week there will be a steady flow of brown envelopes going through the letterbox, speeding from various constabularies up and down the M6. But Mike, all the way up from Brighton, who's our sound engineer, and of course, a pleasure as ever working with Larry Scoop Carter, and we can do it all over again tomorrow. For the final time then, to sign off after this presentation, let's go and join Larry Carter.